I wanted to share another story with you today about a patient who was in the emergency department. This story was told to me by one of my friends who took their grandmother to the emergency department, and they've given me permission to share it today. It's I think kind of a funny story in a way, possibly because I know her grandmother and how sassy she is. Um, but it also illustrates a really, really important point about communication. Um, so her grandmother had a pacemaker, and she was in the hospital. She needed to have some tests done, so one of the doctors had suggested that she have an MRI, and the doctor was there and asking her questions about her health before they did the test. And as he was kind of going through, and he asked, did she have any heart problems? She said, no heart problems. So off they're going, and my friend said she felt a little bit funny about it, but she's not a clinician, so she just kind of left it. But as they got down to the MRI suite, she said, I'm quite relieved that my grandmother's having the test. I hope it'll give us some answers, but I didn't really think that it was going to be possible because of her pacemaker. And all of a sudden the staff kind of went, wah! Freaked out, and they pulled her out of the machine, and they said, oh ma'am, why didn't you tell us you had a pacemaker? And she said, well, you didn't ask. And they said, oh, we asked you about heart problems. And she said, well, yes, but since I've had the pacemaker, my heart hasn't been a problem. Oops. So it ended up being fine in the end. It was one of the devices that you can have an MRI with, but they needed to check that before they did the test. So I think the point that story highlights is just the importance of communication and the difference between a conversation and communication, because they had a conversation but they hadn't really communicated effectively. Communication failures are one of the most frequently cited contributory factors to patient safety incidents, and for patients with dementia who may have trouble with both expressive and receptive communication, it can be a real risk, especially in the emergency department when there's so much going on and you're working at such a fast pace, that sometimes it's hard to try and carve out that dedicated time to make sure that you're not just having a conversation, that you're actually communicating. So the rest of this blog post should just talk a little bit about communication and how communication and dementia interact with the emergency room setting. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've enjoyed the little short story. Thanks.